continue to look bad for the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, so let's talk about that and a whole lot else. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Okay, let's just get right to it. Post-disclosure world, UFO Jesus says, my suspicion currently is that Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick was significantly involved in some capacity with the UFO issue prior to heading Arrow. And Brandon Fugel replies to this, saying, this is beyond suspicion. This is fact. As he was attending briefings in 2018, over 4 years prior to Arrow being established, discussing detailed Skinwalker Ranch and UFO evidence. Then, indeed, here is a post from Mark von Ronnenkamp. Kirkpatrick has advanced technology links to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. I've gone over various parts of the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick's resume to suggest that he has been part of UFO research before. He's been associated with companies that have done UFO reverse engineering. So, but I did not know he was also associated with Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Check this out. In 1999, he established a non-linear ultra-fast physics laboratory for the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base near Dayton, Ohio. So yeah, check that out. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, he was doing high-tech, fancy stuff for Wright-Patterson Air Force Base back, a few years ago. So, yeah, one more piece of evidence linking him to places that are associated with UFO, either reverse engineering or retrievals. So, yeah, I don't buy that he's a disinterested bureaucrat that doesn't like or doesn't believe in UFOs. This guy's in. This guy is read in. He is part of it. He is part of it. And I love that people like Brandon are exposing this. So moving on from that, Brandon is dashing our hopes of staying in a hotel at Skinwalker Ranch. Do you have plans on developing a hotel inside the land? I would love to stay there. Brandon says, never. No public access due to liability issues and the sensitivity of the ongoing research and scientific investigation. Too bad. I would love to go. Well, I think I would love to go. I mean, I would love to go, but I don't want to get a hitchhiker. I don't want a friggin' werewolf, man. I don't want to get haunted by a werewolf like Jay Stratton and his family. That just sounds terrifying. Yeah, and somebody commented on a video the other day posing the question, what was the werewolf doing? The skinwalker, the dog man, it wasn't attacking them or eating them. So what was it up to? What was it up to? I think that's a very good question. Well, what is up with the hitchhiker phenomenon? It seems to want you to be aware of it, but it doesn't seem generally. I got this, guys. Generally, it doesn't generally harm people, although there have been cases of it. But was it a real flesh and blood being that Jay Stratton and his family were seeing? Or was it something else? I would love the answer to that, guys. I would love the answer to that. All right. Meanwhile, Ross Goldhart says, we told you on Reality Check, News Nation, a few weeks ago, how the UAPs that overflew Langley Air Force Base in December were likely not drones. But that's what the U.S. Air Force suggests they are, without any evidence. Now Liberation Times reveals the Air Force has not reported these sightings to Arrow, as it is ordered to do. Then he links to this article from the Liberation Times. U.S. government's UFO office confirms it has not received information on drone incursions over Langley Air Force Base as new details emerge. By Chris Sharp, the U.S. government's UAP office known as Arrow has informed Liberation Times that it has received no information on reports regarding apparent drone incursions over Langley. over Langley Air Force Base. One witness who provided testimony to the FBI and captured the objects on film reported sightings of orb and saucer-shaped objects circling and hovering above and near the base on December 14th. As of now, the U.S. Air Force has not disclosed how these objects were classified as uncrewed aerial systems, their origin, or the identity of those controlling them. An Aero spokesperson told Liberation Times Aero has not yet received a report or any information on this incident. Goes on to say that we don't know why they classified them as drones, and then it says something really juicy. According to one intelligence source who spoke to Liberation Times, the Air Force might have chosen not to share information with Aero due to a perceived lack of trust in its efforts and genuine intent in solving cases in good faith. The Navy is understood to be taking a similar stance toward Aero. Following a recent congressional meeting with Aero's acting director, Tim Phillips, Representative Eric Burleson told reporter Matt Laszlo, when Tim Burchett asked about some of the data, they said that they had not received data from the Navy. That's pretty alarming. Yeah, so the Air Force and Navy, they're not sharing stuff with Aero. You know, there are speculation that it may be a lack of trust for Aero, and there's no reason why they should trust Aero. Absolutely 100%. But could they be using that as an excuse? Because the Air Force is up to its elbows in UFOs, guys. And the Navy is right there with them, guys. The Navy is right there with them. So, you know, they don't want to reveal anything about UFOs anyway. And then you've got Aero sitting over there, you know, Blue Book 2.0. I'm surprised the Air Force and Navy isn't more compliant with Aero in providing stuff to Aero, because Aero is just going to hide it away. I don't quite understand these games that are being played here, but clearly there are games being played, and there are different factions doing different things, and everybody wants their own slice of the pie, I guess. But yeah, there you go. The Air Force is, first of all, we don't know why they're classifying these objects as drones. There's no real reason why they're being classified as drones. And second of all, they're not sharing the data with Aero for whatever reason. Let me know what you think that reason is in the comments below. Meanwhile, an update on Lance Corporal Jonathan Wygant and his story. Apparently his grandmother, he was living with his grandmother at the time. Well, while he was out, she was visited by the men in black. And it wasn't just the human men in black, seemingly. It was the other kind. Let's give a listen.
I should say that his grandmother never knew about his UFO encounter in Peru. She had no clue about that. So a knock was on the door. Now, Jonathan, again, he was living with his grandmother. He was working 2 jobs. He was not there. His car was there, though, at the time. He said, I don't know, someone picked him up or whatever. So there was a knock on the door. His grandmother answered the door, and there was a male figure dressed in a nice dark suit, bald head, wearing sunglasses. Again, his grandmother told him this is what happened. Very, very pale skin. She looked out. There was a Grand Marquis in the driveway, and there was another person looked just like this guy, very similar, sitting behind the wheel. So this guy said to her, is Jonathan Wygant here? Would like to speak to him. And she said, who are you? And where are you from? Why do you want this information? And the guy just kept repeating the same thing. We need to speak to Jonathan. And she said, well, I need to see some ID. Again, she's no dummy. She's studied law. She said, I need to see your ID. And he kept repeating over and over. And she said it very monotone and just repeating the question over and over. And she finally said, go away. And he got in the car and drove off. Never saw him again. But to me, I thought that was kind of a bombshell.
Yeah, it is a bombshell. Okay, so if the men in black approach you, just say go away. I guess that works. I love it, but that is a creepy story, guys. That is a creepy story. The Men in Black are fascinating because, of course, there's at least two kinds of the Men in Black. There are the human variety, and then there are the inhuman variety. It sounds like Jonathan Wygant's grandmother got a visit from the inhuman kind. Certainly doesn't sound very normal, does it? Now, the Men in Black, sometimes they are associated with, Air Force. Sometimes they're associated with the FBI, the human kind. It is very interesting to me that the inhuman kind have adopted the look of an FBI special agent. They are using that look as their look. I guess that makes them more credible or something. I don't know. It's also unclear what association the inhuman variety of Men in Black have with the human variety of Men in Black. Since they seem to do the same thing, they seem to fulfill the same function, basically silencing witnesses. So it's unclear if they have some other function. But yeah, they do the same things as the other guys. What is the story? Who are they operating on behalf of? And when I say the FBI is involved or sometimes operating as Men in Black, what I'm really thinking about is something that happened close to home, the Madison County cattle mutilations. Yeah, it was close to where I live. There was a series of cattle mutilations. There were 6 or 7 that were reported in the media. And then the FBI descended on the scene, hushed everything up. And it turns out, because my UFO group started to do a little digging into it, and we were told to back off. But before we were told to back off, we had learned that there were not just 6 or 7 mutilations in the area. There were over 40 cattle mutilations in and around the same county along a road known as OSR. And the FBI had been telling the ranchers not to talk about it, to shut up about this. This is an ongoing investigation. You can't talk about it. So they didn't. And the FBI silenced that whole phenomenon. They covered it up. They silenced it. They prevented people from talking about it. We were told to back off in our investigations about it. It's unclear if that came directly from the FBI or not, but we were told by the higher-ups in MUFON that if we continued our investigations, the FBI would round us up. It's unclear to me if that was just somebody telling a tale or if that was some sort of directive from the FBI. But it wouldn't surprise me if it was, because they were shutting the ranchers up and suppressing the whole news of that phenomenon. That series of events, of mutilations, because like I say, there were only 6 or 7 reported in the media, but apparently there were over 40 that actually took place. And I'm sure there are many other examples of the FBI silencing UFO events and witnesses. But there are other agencies that perform the same function as well, but those are the human kind. What about the inhuman kind? There are so many weird stories about the inhuman variety of Men in Black. I've heard some weird tales, guys. I mean, these guys are strange. These guys are strange, and they have no idea of any social norms or customs. It's weird. It's weird, guys. I mean, even, a hybrid, a human-alien hybrid would be expected to know more about social norms and customs and how humans interact with each other than these guys do. So what's up with these guys? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Meanwhile, did a UFO hit a Ukrainian fighter jet in an air show in 2007? This is kind of grim, guys. This is kind of grim. But this is seems to be what happened. Okay, here's the air show. All right. It's all right. So there's the plane, and there's the crash, right? Very scary stuff. And yeah, can you imagine being one of these people? Oh my God. Ugh. But yeah, look at that. Look at that. The enhanced footage of a saucer or lenticular shaped UFO passing right by that plane right before the crash. Right before the crash, guys. That's crazy. Is that a saucer on its edge or, seen on its side? Or is that a lenticular UFO? I guess that is it over there. So what is that object? Has this ever been debunked? And yeah, the man, the pilot parachuted out. You can see his parachute there. So thank goodness for that. But yeah, did a UFO cause this crash? It's certainly not the first time we've heard of UFOs causing crashes, whether intentionally or not. They as Dr. Robert Shipe has proven time and again, and others as well, UFOs will buzz our airplanes and our aerial vehicles. And they don't seem to intentionally cause crashes. I sure hope not, because most of the time there's no crash, right? Like 99.999% of the time there's no crash. But every now and then they do collide with one of our vehicles. Is that what happened here? And was it an accident or was it intentional? I think if that's what happened, it was probably an accident, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Meanwhile, Mike Rogers denies killing the Schumer Rounds Amendment. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, he says. Okay, all right. Per ask a poll from Matt Laszlo, who? Representative Mike Rogers, the chair on House Armed Services Committee. Askable ask, do you know what happened to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's U.A.P. amendment in the NDAA last year? Was that you? Mike Rogers says, no, it wasn't me working on it. I don't remember. I really just don't. Okay. I can't remember how it ended up. Mike Rogers says. So was Mike Turner to blame and not Mike Rogers? Well, Rogers says, I don't remember. I mean, I just don't. The question was it Turner? Chair Turner? I don't remember. This guy doesn't remember anything because, we had heard that it was the Mikes, Mike Rogers and Mike Turner, that neutered the Schumer Rounds Amendment. Well, apparently, he doesn't even remember it happening. So I guess it didn't happen. He doesn't remember it. So move along, folks. Move along. Meanwhile, Matt Laszlo also caught up to the U.S. House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, and asked him about David Grush. Have you looked into the claims of UFO whistleblower David Grush at all? No, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says. I have not. So that is very disappointing that someone as powerful as the minority leader in the House has not even looked into David Grush's claims. Very frustrating, guys, but also not surprising. Meanwhile, since we're talking about AARO and David Grush today, why not bring up this quote from Lou Elizondo? He says, I was told some time ago that senior elements in AARO were trying to have Dave Grush prosecuted for going public, and the Pentagon wonders why people don't trust them. Trust works both ways. So, senior elements of AARO. Now, is he talking about the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick? Did Sean Kirkpatrick try or think about having David Grush criminally prosecuted? That is wild. That is wild. They tried, according to Lou Elizondo. They tried. They actually, Sean Kirkpatrick, possibly. We don't have any names here. We don't have any names. But senior elements in AARO were trying to have David Grush prosecuted. So yeah, I mean they're not fooling around with this cover-up stuff, are they, guys? That's some pretty scary stuff. But you know what? It's a new day, and the whistleblower protections, according to Dr. Stephen Greer, are going into effect very soon. So hopefully future whistleblowers won't have this hanging over them, this threat of prosecution from people like the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. Okay, I'll leave you with this image. Adam Goldsack says, woke up this morning to Brandon Fugel taking a flamethrower to the entire debunker troll syndicate. And it shows the guy with the flamethrower. And this is awesome because Brandon actually replies to that. He says, I thought it was perfect. Adam presented a perfect image of what I intended. This is what Brandon wanted. He wanted to blowtorch the whole cover up, and he did. He exposed Sean Kirkpatrick for what he is. And I love it. I love it, guys. Let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Also, channel members frequently get to see videos hours ahead of everybody else. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.